Yo, better run the mic, it's the Krewe NFC, the roundtable where the real heads be. Talking NFL, the game we adore, from the touchdowns to the legends and so much more. That booking guy, he's got the stats on lock, dropping knowledge on the field, watching every block. Back up, back and bleeding green, cheering loud and proud. In the sea of cheese, as he's standing out the crowd. I can't hear with the looks and the smarts, breaking down the plays, and he does it with heart. Then the South, solid like the line. His takes are heavy, his vision's divine. Week by week, we break the game down. From every big play to every new crown. Offense, defense, we cover it all. From the springtime drafts to the winner's last call. It's not just a podcast, it's a fan's lifeline. Connecting every moment from the vines to the side.
Good morning, gentlemen. How we doing? All four of us together again. What a way to start the week. That Seattle Rams game, that was great. That was good to see. There's a couple games last night and yesterday afternoon. We'll get into those a little later. No one wants to talk about that really anyway. But, gentlemen, how we doing?
Yeah.
Andy?
What up?
You good?
Yeah.
Right on.
Mediocre at best.
Normally we start the show off. We usually go through the NFC North, NFC least, and then we get back to the NFC terrible. But we're going to start showing the NFC terrible. Game that matters today. We have the Carolina Panthers hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for control of the NFC South. Well, I don't usually like to get on a soapbox and go on a rant about how I feel, how I feel the game's important, or how I feel the game's important. Are you choking again?
Yeah.
See what I did there, Andy?
I would have a couple of statements on that, but yeah, it's okay.
But I digress. Okay. Tampa Bay Buccaneers finally have a clear bill of health heading into this week's game. Granted, you still have, 6 players, I believe, still on IR. Recently added is Zion McCollum, so you're going to see a heavy dose of Benjamin Morrison today on the corner. Got to have his hands full. I mean, it's not a secret. They got a good rookie receiver in Carolina with McMillan. He is expected to play today. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this game before I go into mine, because I know I can go into a tangent. I really blew up last week on Todd Bowles and how I think he lost a little bit of the team, maybe all of the team, but I guess this week will show how much or how little he's lost the team. But what are your guys' thoughts on today's game? I mean, this is a big game for the NFC South.
So, as a matter of fact, it is just pulling out some of the stats and stuff like that. It looks like over 90% of people just don't care about that game.
All right, I guess I'll just go into my tangent then, right? I mean, that's what we're all waiting for anyway.
Let's hopefully not like last week that took an hour and 45. What you people don't realize is that he kept going after the show was over.
It was. It's uncharacteristic of me to actually go Andy on a show, but
you derailed it pretty good.
There's only one of us this good looking.
Todd Bowles is coach for his job. If he makes it to the playoffs, I'm not sure he keeps his job. I think he's got to win at least one, maybe 2 playoff games to secure his job going forward. And it's not all on Todd Bowles. You got, like I said last week, you have Jason Light, who didn't go out and get any defensive help. You didn't get any real edge rushers or anything along those lines that is going to help a 3-4 defense. That we don't have the personnel to run in Tampa. But anyway, back to the game at hand. Panthers are a pretty strong young team. You've got a great ground game with Dowdle. Their offensive attack is really going to be geared towards the run. Bryce Young isn't the greatest, most accurate quarterback. He has a propensity to turn the ball over if he's getting blitzed. His quarterback rating against the blitz is 10 points lower than against man coverage. So I think the Bucs are going to have to go a lot of zone blitz and force Carolina to pass the ball. and make the young beat you. They didn't look good last week against Shuck. He didn't really pass the ball well, but he was able to scramble, get outside the pocket. I think that's why you're going to see JPP active today. Jason Pierre-Paul, 36 years old, back in the league, back with the Bucs, made a huge impact just for his attitude and who he is going into the locker room in the 2020 season, bringing the Bucs Super Bowl championship. Bucs ground game defense is going to have to step up today. You're going to need a big game from Vita Vea. You're going to need a big game from Levante David. Servassier Dennis is cleared to play today. I still think we're going to see some Anthony Johnson, things along those lines. So you're going to see a rotational linebacker, just keep them fresh. Hopefully there's an impact on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, you're going to have to see a great ground game. You're going to have to see a great ground stack from Bucky Irving, Rashad White. Sean Tucker is going to be your, short yardage situation back. He might steal a couple touchdowns. So if you have Tucker on your fantasy team, he might be someone to look to go to today. You're going to see a lot of passing to Mike Evans, who goes off against the Panthers, who usually has a great game. You're going to see them probably double Mike, allowing Emeka Egbuka to get open. Chris Godwin's going to be your third down back and be featured a lot in this offense today. You're driving me crazy, Brian.
I know. I'm distracting you.
What do you got going on?
Quick question. Who else do you think is actually playing for their jobs? Do you think the quarterback, your quarterback, might be playing for his job? See if they get the draft a rookie out of.
I do think the offensive coordinator. I mean, it's been terrible. His offensive game philosophy. There is no real structure to his play call. He's just basically throwing spaghetti at the wall, hoping something sticks. He doesn't set up any plays. There's no offensive play call. It's kind of like storytelling. I'm going to do this to set this up. I'm going to do this to set that up. And it's just run, screen, pass. Now we're behind. Pass. 4th and 1, let's throw a toss. I mean, it's awful. There's no structure to the play call. There has to be some sort of building towards something, and there's just not. You've got all that talent. You cannot tell me that an offense that had Liam Cohen as their head coach averaged 3.5 points more a game, or as their offensive coordinator averaged 3.5 points more a game than what we have right now, and we added more offensive weapons. It just doesn't make sense. You can give me the injury excuse all you want, but all teams face injury. All teams deal with injury. Bucs have had the same offensive line, makeshift pieces here and there, but you've got that structure. You've got something to build on. They're just not building on it. I really think today's a must win. Yeah.
So from the GM down, you're going to have to do kind of like what the Bears did, for example, is actually go from pretty much your president on down in order to be able to kind of switch out any sort of like a major attitude shift, and especially with your coaches, who are you going to get? Can't get John Gruden. Because according to everybody, John Gruden's going to 113 teams out there.
Yeah,
college, pros, everybody.
Let me ask you this: do you really want John Gruden as a head coach in the NFL right now? Do you think his offensive philosophy plays today? I mean, he's got that old school mentality. I don't want to say Bill Walsh-esque, but it's almost Bill Walsh-esque.
I think he would actually be he would be a good fit for Dallas, only because of the fact that you have an old school type of owner / general manager who's only going to give you a certain amount of of tools that you're going to need to be able to actually succeed. And with that being said, he's one of the guys that's been able to really accomplish a little bit or a lot with just a little bit. So he would actually probably fit fairly well in Dallas. I just don't necessarily see that general manager, as inept as he is, really being able to get along with that kind of a coach. It's like Jimmy Johnson and that general manager / owner. Eventually things were hunky dory when they're winning, but when things go a little bit rough, then unfortunately you're going to be butting heads, and look what ends up happening.
Yeah, Todd Bowles' message is stale. Kind of like you hear in Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin's message is stale. Tomlin has not had a losing season. I don't care how stale his message is. If the Steelers get rid of Mike Tomlin, 17 teams in the league are going to be beating down his door. If the Bucs get rid of Todd Bowles, find me 3. Find me 3 teams that are going to be knocking on the door to hire Todd Bowles as a head coach. I mean, the only good thing going into next season for the Bucs is no one's going to be pillaging their offensive coordinator. That's it. I mean, if Bowles keeps his job, not saying he's getting fired, not saying he deserves to be fired, whatnot, whatever. If Bowles keeps his job, the offensive coordinator needs changed. You got to do something. Their special teams coordinator needs changed. When you're in charge of the defense and your offensive coordinator and your special teams coordinator needs to be let go, that means your head coach isn't doing what he should be doing. Am I wrong? If 2/3 of the snake is dead, what good is the head of the snake?
It can still hiss and make a lot of noise, not really do anything, kind of like,
Anyway. So,
Yeah.
Bucs going to Carolina today. Bucs by 10. Leave it at that. Bucs by 10.
Lose by 10.
Bucs by 10.
Yeah. They got to win this game.
They have to win this game. They're playing for their coaches. If the Bucs go out and lay down, it's the message they want to send. If they go out and play like they can play, it's the message they want to send. It's all going to be, I mean, Bull said it last week, it's all on the players. Now it really is. If they're not sick of listening to the same story every week, if they're not sick of losing, it's on them. It really is.
So if the message you're going to be sending is also going to, if you make it into the playoffs and stuff like that, you're going to be sending the same thing. This is how you actually beat us. You kind of hurt our feelings and we're going to lay down and blah, 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 blah. So, I mean, honestly, even if you can make it in the playoffs, what kind of a run are you really planning on making?
Honestly, all you need is a ticket to the dance. What happens from there happens from there. But if the Bucs went into the wild card 2020, end up winning the whole damn thing.
Quarterback was different. Quarterback was different. Your offensive coordinator was different.
Offensive coordinator arguably was worse because it was Byron Leftwich. Bruce Arians led that team. But anyway, the point is they played for that coach. They went out there and they played. That's all it's got to happen.
I think the quarterback had something to do with that too. Look what happened to Bill Belichick after Tom Brady ended up leaving. He absolutely, utterly collapsed.
Okay, but look at the Bucs after Tom Brady ended up leaving. They didn't collapse. There was no fall off. That fall off was anticipated, and it didn't happen. The Bucs are going for their 5th straight NFC South championship, and I know it's the NFC South, and it's not a big deal to most. It's not a big deal to most. But if your coach leads you to 5 NFC championships, how do you get rid of them?
So, I happen to be one of the teams that actually was in the playoffs, and so is, possibly this guy down here. But think about it like this. Let's say those guys, if the Cowboys and the Packers were in the –
is eliminated.
Who cares? Well, that's the other, that kind of leads to the question. That leads to the question, though, that if the Cowboys were, in fact, in the South – they'd be what? First place ahead in like 3 games?
Come on, man.
No.
It's insane it's just insane how with a straight face, you can be 1-17, still make the playoffs. Oh, look, we just won our division yet again.
Hey, the playoffs, we say it, we said it for the last 5 years. The playoff system is broken in the NFL. There is no reason for us to still be going, this team was good in their conference, or their division. This team was good in their division. This team was good in their division. Take the best 8 teams. Leave it at that. Take the best 8 teams with the 8 best teams record-wise and put them in the playoffs.
And just eliminate divisions, period.
Bingo.
Way too much money would be lost.
Why do you need them? Exactly. What do you say, Andy?
So way too much money would be lost.
What if, hear me out, what if we went to a bowl system like they have in college? So now you're playing in a bowl game to play in the Super Bowl.
Okay. I didn't know we were doing morning drinking.
Well, it's not amateur football playing bowl games anymore, is it?
Here we go with the NIL. It's true. The NIL is kind of sort of, jacking
Kinda
things
sort
up. But what
You,
kind of a
you, you took the show off the rails. You did it again. Bucks by 10.
Boy.
Bucks by 10. Okay, let's go to the New Orleans Saints, who is the hottest team in the NFC South right now, squaring up against the Jets. Kamara's still out. Rich is out. Ruiz is out for the Saints. Fields is questionable today. You might see Justin Fields play today, but I doubt it. Jet season is over. Saints season is over, but I think they're playing for pride. Saints aren't a team that just lies down. I think they go into this game. They're favored by 6. I think they win by at least 6. Again, I know you guys don't want to waste your time talking about the Saints and the Jets. Doesn't have any playoff implications, so we'll kind of just treat them like we'll do Dallas. Let's go Falcons, Cards. Falcons are favored by 3 over the Cards. Cardinals have about 6 or 7 guys on the injury report. Again, is it really worth talking about? Let's give it the Cowboys treatment, and that finishes up our NFC South talk. Mike, what do you got going in the NFC East?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, put your safety harness on, buckle up, because he thought Andy was bad. I'm about ready to derail this whole show.
Oh, boy.
We call that a Sunday.
Now, yes, we do. Now,
But I went back to work, got up on Monday morning, and there it was. Glory hole.
yeah, they just put me on my soapbox and let me go. This show will be a lot better, get more views. Listen, I said from the start of the year, the Cowboys would not make the playoffs. They'd be 3rd in division. They might finish 2nd. Now we're knocked out of the playoffs. What a big shocker. You can't have 3 different defensive coordinators in 3 years and expect anybody to do anything different. Now we're going to change it up. We're going to put Matt Eberflus up in the box, and he's going to coach from the box. Let's take it one step further and walk him to his office, grab his stuff, and walk him out of Arlington, out of Dallas, whatever. Kick him out. He's done. I don't want to see him anymore. Let's try to pay Al Harris the money that we need to pay and bring him, because they actually played hard when Al was there. But what's the play for now?
Roll, the sky is no longer falling, it's crashing down. The sky is no longer falling, it's crashing down. The sky is no longer falling, it's crashing down. Roll, roll. Roll.
I told you at the beginning of the season, and nobody wanted to listen to me. And it is what it is. Nobody wants to say that I'm right ever, but once again, I was right. So
I love it. You're right, Mike. You're right.
Here we go. I'm done. I've been done with it. I've tried to keep, look at the positive side, but there is no positive side. Again, I'll say it for every year that I say it, until Jerry Jones is gone, this team will not do anything. Get into the playoffs, win a playoff game.
But I went back to work, got up on Monday morning, and there it was. Glory hole.
You can keep playing them. I'm still ready to go. I've been quiet. So here's what we got. Take Dak out. $60 million quarterback. These games are meaningless. Put Joe Milton in, see what Joe could do, and let's go from there. We can't. We got everybody's hurt. Every time Jerry pays somebody money, they end up turning into glass as soon as they get paid. Bland's out again with the foot injury. It looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the year. Trayvon Diggs slipped on something at home, and I don't want to play for this team no more, is what it comes down to, because Matt Eberflus is terrible. That's what it's come down to. He's not really hurt. He just don't want to play no more, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to either. When your defense coordinator takes away what your players do best, your best players, it's an issue. So Dallas just needs to roll the dice and then, hear the rumors. Well, I want Javonte Williams to come back. Well, you're the GM and the owner. Pay him then. Pay him. Don't go overboard, but pay him his money. but we're not. He'll pay Kenneth Murray his money, a crap ton of money. The dude sucks at linebacker, and why he's still in there. I don't know why we haven't played Logan Wilson. But I'm done, dude. This is terrible. And all he cares about is making money in football games. And I've been saying it since I've known you.
All right. So
I'm done. Okay, we want to move on. Games are there. Oh yeah, the Eagles won.
Oh wait.
Last night. Who cares about the other game?
If you're a Dallas Cowboy player, you practice all week thinking we've got to win out to make the playoffs. Your practices are ramped up. You're, pushing that narrative the whole time in the locker room. With this Bears win last night and the Seattle win Thursday, how do you, as a Cowboy player, play today? I mean, I know you're a professional and I know you get paid to do it, but how do you go out there and play today?
It's whatever Schottenheimer does, and I don't want to see him leave again because we're going to play a coaching carousel. But I don't want to do it with the defense either. But we have no other choice. The players are going to go out and play. And again, like I said, Dak Prescott shouldn't be playing. They should just pull him for the year and be done. But they're not going to because they'll be like, "Well, it's the NFL. We don't do that."
Well, I mean, do you look at this as a resume game? Is the rest of the season for the Cowboys a resume game for their players to put?
That's the only thing it is at this point. But again, you said it earlier too. We've had injuries all year, but other teams have had injuries and has done things. Again, there's certain things that aren't working there. And there's a lot of things that are working there. Offensively, we've looked really good. But you cannot, on average, we're scoring 20. It was like at one point, I think last week, it was 29.3 points per game. But our defense was giving up 29.6. And it was like the first time in history somebody scored as much as they gave up, the exact amount. So they got to go out and play. I mean, they can go out and play all they want at this point. I mean, all they can do is almost be spoilers. I mean, look, they're playing the Chargers this week. The Chargers need to win to keep pace with Denver. Though I think Denver's going to win that division. But again, what's
the point?
What's the point?
I get it.
Your owner's a jackass. Like, the owner's a jackass. Like, he won't leave. Like, he won't step down, won't do nothing. He wants to play GM. And, I guarantee the move to the box was his idea. I don't even think Schottenheimer wants him there because half the time that you watch the games, you look at him and he's looking down at Eberflus like, what the hell are you doing?
We all are looking at Eberflus thinking, what the hell are you doing?
And
hey, let's be fair.
And that's my main issue, and it's been my main issue all year. Talked about it all year on this show. And to be honest with you, I mean, I always root for the Cowboys, but I'm realistic about it. I just can't.
Well, all right. Let's be positive, Mike.
Merry
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
No,
I was just looking. I was just looking at the how to make the fluffiest pancakes your family will love. Something to pass the time until real football is talked about.
Pass the time. I mean, let's be honest. We'll move on from the Cowboys. The Eagles beat Washington, knocked Dallas out of the playoffs, so there we go. And then today you got the Giants playing Minnesota. Okay. As well.
So, all right.
And then next week, Mike, you'll be sitting here with me complaining about the Bucs, and you'll be throwing the derail.
Well, but I still got 2 weeks to correct it. So
No.
We're
Okay, well,
still
2 weeks. 2 weeks, you're going to be sitting here with me after Carolina beats the brakes off them today.
all right.
And
All
then,
right.
You know, I mean, let's move on to, whatever. The Bears
All
are
right.
actually good. I don't know if we're in the 20th
I don't know what's
century
going
where
on.
we're at. Are they going to move to Gary and be the Gary Golden Bears? What's going on? I don't. Let's
I
move
should get
on.
free ticket. If that's the case, since I played for the Gary Golden Bears, I should receive free tickets. Not that I'd use them. I'd vandalize people's cars with them. But anyway, I think it's time for
Welcome to the bare minimum with your host, I Candy Andy. Walter, Ditka, Peyton, Dent, Butkus, Man, Khalil, Fridge, Richard, Jim, Lovey, Sires, Cutler, Feuds, the Bears. The Bears. The Bears. The Bears. The Bears.
As it should be. The only two teams that are actually in the playoffs, really, at least have any sort of legitimate shot of actually going past the first round, is how it pretty much should be. But I actually didn't have a chance to watch the game, so I don't know what ended up happening yesterday.
You guys won. Caleb Williams probably had the throw of the year for that game-winning touchdown.
Oh, you mean the one in overtime?
Yeah.
So let me actually run this quick stat behind you. You're looking at total yards 400, passing yards 250 to 192, rushing yards 150 to 192. You have a fair amount of third down efficiency, 2 out of 11, 6 out of 12 for you guys, 2 out of 3 for fourth down, 1 out of 3. Total plays 60, 70. We did get 2 sacks on you, which is kind of gross. But anyway, here's the stat that really is telling, and this is where really we need to kind of clean that up, like big. 10 penalties, 1,500,000. What on earth is going on with the Bears as far as like penalty wise? And I understand there was a few of them that were actually in there that were what ended up taking out Jordan Love. Unfortunately, was kind of it was just unfortunately like a football type of play where he goes one way and he's helmet to helmet and he gets booted out of the game, and then this freaking guy, Malik freaking, I'm gonna save the Packers. He's throwing the ball, he's running the ball, that kind of stuff. I'm like, I didn't particularly appreciate that, so I would appreciate if you actually sat his ass down again. But yeah, the Bears did end up winning in overtime. They did everything from special teams, they did everything from defense, they did everything in offense. Offense was kind of sketchy for sure. For I would say 3/4 and about 97%. And then all of a sudden they came back and decided to actually play some ball. A heck of a game, it really was.
Look, watching the game last night, and I meant to write some stuff down, but then had difficulties getting my computer working this morning. So one thing that I was mentally thinking about this game. So right the very first drive, LaFleur makes a big mistake. You're on the road and it's fourth down, and I understand you're close to scoring a touchdown. You're on the 3. Why would you go for it? Why would you just take your 3 points, live to see another day offensively? Instead, you give up a fourth down play, incomplete pass. Now, granted, Chicago didn't score on that next drive, and then the Bears turn around and Ben Johnson gets cued on a fourth down, and it's just why don't you take the points there? I mean, I think both coaches tried to literally try to put the grip on the throat right from the get-go. And in a game like that, which especially its playoff implications, why are you chancing that? Why are you even chancing that?
So I think there's a couple of things. First off, you're going to have to make sure that the defense actually plays honest. And so if you throw a little tricky play on the Bears side, That's definitely going to keep Green Bay home and not necessarily try to do what they were doing before. And your defensive coordinator, of course, loves to apparently blitz the Bears, and he was doing a lot of that, and then eventually went to zone and a few others. But yeah, it does kind of make you feel it was like Seattle, when Seattle threw the ball, trying to win the Super Bowl, and then ended up getting picked off basically at the half-inch line. It was kind of like one of those type of things where sometimes you just pound the rock. That's essentially what it is. But like I said, I get it. I understand. You got to keep that defense kind of, on the positive side there. But they got to clean up a few things for sure.
And then you brought up the hit on Love, and I've had people tell me, well, that was dirty. I said, no, that's not dirty. Maybe it's deemed illegal, but that wasn't a dirty hit. I mean, it just happened. He happened to lower his head at the same level the defender's head was coming to get him. That was a play. That was just a football play.
That hit when we were younger. Let's say we're 15 years old again, right? We're watching NFL films. That is an intro hit you see every week.
Yep.
There goes the
They
move.
glorify that hit. They're like, this is what the NFL brings you. It was a hit. And it wasn't, he didn't hit him hard. He hit him high, but it wasn't like he went for a knockout punch. He was going for the tackle. Yes,
Right.
the crown of his head his face mask was up, but the crown of his head hit the helmet. It was helmet to helmet, but it wasn't a dirty play by any means. I didn't feel anyway.
No, I didn't. It was just illegal. I mean, in terms of the rules now, yes, but was that something dirty? No, it wasn't. It is what it is. It was a football play.
Can I defend both your offensive coordinators before we get off this too far?
Sure.
Your situation, Brian, you're the awake team. You drive opening kickoff down to the 1 yard line. You have to score.
Right.
You're in the position that you need to put the touchdown on the board. 3 points in that wind isn't guaranteed. If you miss that kick, you give them 7 extra yards, right? Because you got the place. They hold the ball for the kick, the place. That's where the ball's set if you miss that kick. Not where you snap it from, where you miss it from, right? So then you give them 7 yards. So then they go down and they drive. They're in the end zone, right? Because they shut down on the 2 yard line. So offensively for Green Bay, right decision to go for it. Maybe the play call needed to be better. Maybe you needed something to where you're pounding the ball up the middle. If you have Josh Jacobs fully healthy, I think you get that touchdown. In Chicago, you just stopped Goliath. You just took everything that Green Bay had to give you, and you stopped them. You drive down. You force your will upon them. You're now at the 2 yard line. Why get cute? I agree with going for it, but your ground game is one of the best ground games in the NFL right now. Why are we snapping it? Not a shotgun snap, not a pistol snap. You are snapping it between the legs of your center, your tight end who came in motion and just stood there behind the center, to a 5'7" running back, and the ball traveled 7 feet in the air. I mean, terrible play call. Right decision to go for it, terrible play call. Again, you missed that field goal, you're giving them 7 yards.
Well, you certainly know about 5'7", that's for sure. But like I said, it was one of those things where you want to be able to keep that because you're, like you said, it's almost like a script. And if you actually throw a little wrinkle like that into the mix, even if it's going to be based on your first drive, that could actually give you the lead. You actually throw the defense off, especially if it was actually successful. If it was successful, I think the defense for Green Bay actually would have been a little bit different. It would have been adjusted a little bit different. But these two teams know each other so incredibly well that it's just one of those things where it doesn't necessarily matter your offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, because there's that animus between the two teams. You see how it was getting chippy on a couple of instances.
Chippy from opening kickoff set the tone of that game.
Yep,
that was great. There was two teams that were going to punch each other the entire night. That's football I live for.
And that's the point, is the fact that even though, your offensive coordinator, the Bears can be scoring 50 points a game. The Packers, you do realize that they've scored in the 40s. You guys have like a victory. So you need to do less of this and more of this.
Oh my God.
And then the other team's not even, how about them boys? 30-something years of non-playoff football, so both of you need to stop doing this. Do more of this.
Did you watch that Bears Shuffle
Zip it to bag.
on Netflix?
I did watch an episode or two.
I figured you did. That's why you're so brash right now.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's just, the adults are talking. The ones that are in the playoffs, have an opportunity to be able to, so.
We got to let Andy go because he doesn't get this opportunity that much. So that's why I'm sitting here quiet, letting him go.
Oh, not to mention.
Welcome to another worthless episode of the Bare Minimum with iCandy Andy.
What's your prediction for the NFC?
Just let him go. He's excited.
Wait till I get to the second hour.
Just let him go. He's super excited. There's no need for it. Just let him go.
So with the Bears having the opportunity to be able to make a deep dive into the playoffs and stuff like that, that's actually going to lead to two questions. Number one, where are the Bears going to meet up with Green Bay again? And what's going to be the outcome? If you have a 1-1, what is it going to be, a tie?
Go ahead, Brian. I'll let you take this before I jump in.
What are we saying? Meeting in the playoffs?
You meet like the Bucs met the Saints in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's first of all, I think the country would be all in a lather over a round 3 game with these two teams.
Either way, in the snow.
Yeah, yeah. It's just look. I wanted to say this before we get completely off the rails. I was trying to make the point after we let Mike get going about the offensive coordinator thing. Malik Willis played his ass off last night. Appreciated it. And after Love went out, the Packers could have just completely folded, and I would have got it. But he played his ass off. Credit to him. But this is the one I want to share. This is Caleb Williams' stats this season when trailing. 72.4 adjusted completion rate, 1,943 total yards, 16 total touchdowns, 3 picks. He's doing something that hasn't been done since Manning, winning games when losing in the fourth quarter at this age. You guys got a quarterback, and I'm giving you guys your flowers now.
You know what's crazy is in Chicago, they're still not sure. That there's still talks of did we get the right guy.
Think about it. You've actually had anything from Jay Cutler to he's actually still currently the top dog, but you've had so many quarterbacks over the years, like 20 plus quarterbacks over the years, that you kind of you want to be able to make sure before, and that career is going to be done and over with. And, let's just say, theoretically speaking, he makes a Hall of Fame or at least some sort of a thing, after the fact. The Bears would finally probably sit back and be like, yeah, okay, he wasn't bad. Because Jim McMahon, of course, with all of his, let's be honest, he won a championship, but he was still kind of a mediocre type of a career. He, of course, was riding the tailcoats of probably one of the better, if not one of the best defenses in NFL history. That being said, you see how he's still revered in Chicago.
Yeah.
So, but with Caleb Williams and stuff, you're absolutely right in the fact that if it's going to be late in the fourth quarter, you are not going to be necessarily guaranteed a victory if you're the opposing team because of the fact. And I think because remember we were talking about it a few years ago with that whole attitude shift and things like that. That's going to be that's a major thing also. The Buccaneers can certainly use that. Cowboys, oh my God, ownership definitely needs to fire the general manager and get somebody new.
So,
Because
serious. So, with Chicago, Caleb Williams is going to be the best quarterback in franchise history for the Chicago Bears. I was never on board with him. I always thought he was a little too athletic, so to speak. No, I think he was just more of an athlete than a quarterback. But I think you got the head coach. I think Caleb Williams plays for any other team in the NFL right now. He's mediocre. He's good. He's going to start next year. But with Ben Johnson, he's leveled up so drastically from what he was prior. And I think that's big. I mean, that's a huge deal. I think Ben Johnson is your answer, and I think he's gonna surpass the coach. I really think he is. I think you're gonna put him up there with Hallis, with Ditka, Ben Johnson.
Well, once we're actually hoisting our third consecutive Lombardi trophy, then yeah, I think you're absolutely right. No, but think about it like this: you actually had the Bears, and we were just talking about this earlier, is the fact that not only do you have that whole paradigm shift with as far as attitude, but you literally got a new president and CEO, you got a new general manager. Well, he's a few years out, new coach, new players. I mean, the whole thing is brand spanking new, and that's actually they've set themselves up for this type of success. Offensive line is my point. It's the fact that they went out, they got Tunney, they got players that are doing weird things that the Bears haven't necessarily had recently, and that's pass protect and run block.
Well,
so when you
to be fair, you have a quarterback that's not afraid to stand in the pocket either.
That is true.
He stands in the pocket, maybe a little too long at times, but Justin Fields was two-step drop and pop or he's leaving. Caleb Williams gives that offensive line time to mature and make them look a lot better than they actually are.
This is a team that has a victory.
I'm giving you guys your props.
No, but the point is, now that the Bears have actually gotten an offensive line that can do certain things, in particular run block, you're definitely seeing a little bit more success. I think they're still a little bit too vanilla in their passing attack. If by chance you had a few extra little plays, but unfortunately, look what happened to your wide receivers. You have one with a stress fracture, Roma Dunze, and of course you have Burton, who was out. But still you had like Green Bay, for example, I'll tell you, this Malik kid, he can have his success after this week, but he was actually doing pretty well against the Bears, and he was actually hitting his receivers.
That's a good point I was going to bring up to Brian. If Love is out going forward, how confident are you in Malik? Grant, now listen, you're giving him a full week to prepare as a starter. He's not going to be coming in with 2 reps at practice. He's going to be with the starters all week.
I feel like he understands the offense, and he gives actually the offense another layer where you saw him make choices to run, and he is fast. That dude is fast. It almost looked like Lamar Jackson out there for a minute, and I was like, whoa, I never knew Malik Willis can run.
Yeah.
So, how positive? I won't be like 100% like completely on board saying, "Oh, we got this," we'll be fine. But I think he's very capable of winning a game if needed. Now, I think we've got Baltimore next week at home. If Baltimore's D is healthy, they're one of the tougher defenses, and they're still fighting for a playoff spot in a very bad division, right? So you're going to get their all on that. So the only advantage is you're playing at home. But no, I seriously, I think Malik will be fine. But am I like 100% confident? No, I will be kind of on the edge of my seat, going, "This is it. It's riding on the back of quarterback."
So what makes it kind of interesting is once you get a little bit of film on him and stuff like that, defense is going to be able to actually adjust accordingly. But that ripple is the fact that he can run, and he is deceptively fast. You might be. Look at that play where he was holding the ball the pocket was collapsing. This is late in the game. Pocket had collapsed. He's juking and jiving and stuff like that. Next thing you know, he runs up the middle for whatever it was, 9.5, 10 yards, 12 yards, whatever the case was. That little ripple is actually what ends up is going to be the problem. Justin Fields actually did that to a point. Caleb Williams can do that. He's deceptively fast. Baker Mayfield is like a pup named Scooby-Doo, if you remember that cartoon, Velma, where he's like 17 steps for every real adult step. And so, it's like a Kyler Murray 2.0. But with that being said, I think the Packers probably should have some sort of success next year. That's cool. We want this one right now.
So who would you rather see from the NFC North in the playoffs? Would you rather see Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, Chicago, Detroit, Green Bay? Because those are going to be the two teams. Or two of those teams are going to make the playoffs.
Probably. We'll see. It depends. I think if we have the opportunity to actually visit with Minnesota again, for example, just because it might be the easiest win.
Yeah, but they're not in the playoff hunt.
But it's the easiest win.
Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago, Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit. What do you want to see?
Really, if you're looking playoffs, if you're looking for an easy win, it'd be Chicago versus the Buccaneers. I think chances are.
Oh wow! Shots fired.
Chances are. The Bears would probably sit their first, second, and third strings. You probably look at Detroit. I think because Detroit gives a little bit of a. Okay, so because the Packers and the Bears, of course, oldest rivalry, blah 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 blah. You of course they know each other so well. Detroit and Chicago know each other pretty well. However, with Ben Johnson, that's actually the little twist in that whole scheme right there. I think there's a possibility that Detroit didn't see all of what Ben Johnson has in his little playbook, his little red book that Red Bow you has, to kind of say. But I think in that particular case, just simply because if we actually played the Packers again, we'd either win by 30 or lose by 30.
Well, then I got a question I'll pose to you, Andy. Since Mike, astutely brought up who would you rather see in the playoffs, or have in the playoffs from the North. That last game you guys have against Detroit looms very, very big, especially if, and this is, I'm not rooting for this. I'm just saying, if you guys go out to San Fran and get beat and Detroit wins out, that game becomes huge for you guys.
Sure.
So what do you do then, knowing that if say the Packers lose out, Detroit gets in, that game becomes huge because it's a seeding thing, right? So if Detroit comes in and beats your guys' ass again, what happens? What happens that next week? And you got to turn around and play them again. I mean, you're saying bag of tricks and stuff like that. You can't put the whole bag of tricks out when you're trying to where you're potentially playing a back-to-back situation.
Two different teams. The Bears are literally two different teams. If you remember, they couldn't find, the light switch on the wall with their hand, in the middle of the day. You couldn't do that. Now, you see how things are completely 100% attitude-wise. Coaching, of course, you're starting to introduce a little bit more. Defense is getting defense is perfectly fine. Don't get me wrong. You still have a bunch of takeaways. You got defensive stops, bend, don't break, that kind of thing. Pass rush, of course, needs to be improved, but literally, you have two different teams. So I think if they actually ended up playing Detroit again, I think Detroit would be actually surprised because now the Bears are a little bit more apt in order to be able to kind of punch the Lions square in the jaw and, shot for shot kind of a deal, as opposed to the last one when you're supposed to go left and you went right. You're supposed to go, slot and you that kind of thing. Screen pass, that kind of deal. So I think if anything, it would be Detroit that the Bears would probably want to see a little bit more.
Well, let me ask you this. Green Bay gets healthy going into the playoffs. You get Josh Jacobs healthy. You get Jordan Love healthy. You get Watson healthy. I mean, he played well, but he wasn't really healthy. You get all three of them healthy. Green Bay is going to be a tough team to beat.
Right. Well, the Bears have their injuries as well. So
if Detroit loses 2, do you pull your starters and let them get healthy?
Who's the question?
Ryan,
to me?
For you.
Oh,
you make the playoffs. If Detroit loses 2, no matter what happens elsewhere, do you pull so your team gets healthy?
At this point, I would, because I want to be as healthy as I can for wild card weekend.
Fair enough.
I mean, Josh Jacobs only played 28 snaps last night, guys.
He looked terrible too. He didn't look good. He had a couple good runs, but he didn't look good.
I'm honestly shocked they played him, but I understood why he played because it was important. Mm-hmm. But at this point, now you've got 2 games left, and you've got to make the playoffs. You basically have to win out now. Yeah, I don't see how Jacobs sits, and the only way that scenario happens is if Detroit loses.
2.
Yep.
Yeah, that's rough.
Is LaFleur on the hot seat?
Oh God, no way.
No. There's a lot of people chirping still about it, but you're not going to get rid of a guy that's won 70% of his games. You can't.
Yeah, no way.
They're still talking about that, Mike Tomlin. They're talking about that, a few other places too.
No, I get you, but I don't think you let him go. I wouldn't let him go.
Everyone might be looking for a job.
If you let him go, we will gladly take him. But anyway, we're coming close to the end of the show. You guys got your pick 6 ready?
Yep.
No, you don't. Andy's looking at the schedule right now.
Right.
All right, Andy, let that whole intro play so you could get your picks in. But last week, we all didn't do really well. Brian won with 18. Not great, but out of fans that submitted, Jim Lovell won with 18. So I guess it was something that was just the week of football, right?
Mm-hmm.
Andy, you killed it again this week, brother. You took home 6. You hit on pick 6. You got 6. I've never seen it happen. You picked it. You got it.
You know what that means? Double down.
Brian, you won. You're first up, brother.
All right. So this week I'm taking number 6, the Bills, 5 Texans, 4 Broncos, 3 Niners, 2 Bengals, 1 Bears.
That Niners game's going to be huge. We didn't talk about it. That's going to be a big game.
It is.
They should walk them, but it should be a good one. Stout, who you got?
The Bills at 6, the Eagles at 5, Houston at 4, Cincy at 3, the Niners at 2, and 1, I got the Chargers.
Your 5 is kind of questionable. I think we'll let it pass, but the game had already started. Philly was already up by a good 2 touchdowns before you sent that in.
Again, I brought it up. I thought it got sent after Brian made his comment about me not doing my homework. Apparently, I didn't send it right away.
You forgot to put your name on the paper?
I don't like to wait to the last minute to, like some other people. I just forgot to put my name on the homework that I didn't do.
So I have the Bills, Texans, Saints, Niners, Bears, and Bucks by 10. All right, Andy, give us 6.
I'm going to go with Seattle in overtime. And number 6. Number 6 is also going to be the Bears in overtime.
We'll give you
No,
Bears at 6. All right.
I would say Chargers at 6 because them boys. Vikings over the Giants because good God, the Giants. Panthers actually at home over the Bucks. I'm gonna have to say the Titans over the Chefs because the Chefs, unfortunately, they're done.
I
There it
picked
goes.
the
On so many
Bears, I'll
levels.
have you know.
Broncos. I'm gonna switch out the Broncos. Everybody should pick the Bears.
So at 1, you got the Bears.
Broncos. Or a horse.
You got
Oh my God.
You know?
Every week we explain the rules. We're gonna have to switch you in Stout's videos or something. Every week we explain the rules. You had an opportunity to take the Bears at 6, and no one's gonna bat an eye.
Yeah, I'll take the Bears.
Chargers at 6. Too late. Chargers at 6. Bears at 1. All right.
Wait a minute. How do we fucking figure this out? I don't read our text messages daily.
Oh, I've got a new video idea.
Andy,
I'll take the Bears at 6.
No, it's too late. I understand it. Like this is bad, dude. You're so excited about the Bears. I can't wait till the fall comes. I seriously can't. It's going to be awesome.
In fact, can I take the Bears at 7?
We have a holiday coming. Before we get out of here, I want to wish you all Merry Christmas. I appreciate you all for coming out here talking sports with us. I always know I can text you guys. You're going to come back with something stupid to cheer me up. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Merry Christmas. Do you guys have any closing thoughts for us today?
Bear down.
Way down. Brian?
Merry Christmas. Yes, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
All I'm hoping for is an Everflus pink slip. That's all I want.
What about curtains?
You know what? That'll be my second gift, and then the third one could be the GM gets fired.
This isn't the 12 days of Christmas, Stout.
Yeah, it's 12 days of Christmas. Listen here.
You want curtains?
All right. Like, thank our wives and families for allowing us to come on here 1 hour every weekend to be complete and total idiots. Until next week, we will see you all again. Todd Bowles, you have every single bullet in the chamber. You need to unload that gun and win today by any means necessary. Bucks by 10. Bucks by 10.